Hey, welcome back here at Greater Zion Stadium. Halftime festivities. Really good crowd tonight. Great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Caden, Devin, nowhere I'd rather be than Greater Zion Stadium. What a first half. We got a ball game on our hands. We got a defensive, physical ball game on our hands, 14-9.
We do. It is, as you say, very defensive. We've seen 2 blocked field goals against Utah Tech from SUU. We saw a pick there as well from SUU. And, we've seen some good stops from Utah Tech on the defensive side as well. And, they're holding they held SUU to a field goal at one point. So, you know what? It's a big defensive battle. I said coming into this one, I thought this could be a barn burner. I thought this one could be a good, high-quality shoot match, right, with lots of scoring. 14-9 is not what I was expecting. I thought at this point we might be more like 14-17. But 14-9 is just a hair lower than I was expecting.
Yeah, the people down in Vegas had this one at 62 total points. So that's like a 30-32 type of game.
Yep.
We're not pacing to that right now.
Not yet.
Rivalry game. They also had the Thunderbirds favored by 13. Utah Tech, only down by 5 right now. So not pacing to cover either. But that's for those guys down in Sin City to think about. We got some scores to get for you here. Glad you're listening on the Fan Sports Network. Sand Hollow Resort bringing you our halftime show on the radio. Go check out their estate lots now selling phase 1. Also check out the Championship 18-hole golf course, the Sand Hollow Grill, all their events, and they got the Scottish Links 9-hole course if you want to get out and play your next round at Sand Hollow. It is absolutely unbelievable out there. Let's get to the UAC scores first. Texas A&M taking care of Abilene Christian today, 38-10. Austin Peay taking care of Central Arkansas in a kind of a similar game to we're seeing here, but this is a final score, 14-12. But that does make Austin Peay now 9-2 on the season, undefeated and outright UAC champs in the inaugural season. How about the Govs getting it done by 2 today? Yeah,
they getting it done. We kind of knew they would come in and get it done, but I didn't think it was going to be 14-12. That was a big defensive matchup right there. But Austin Peay, phenomenal season, 9-2 this year, 6-0 in the UAC. Congrats to them for the season that they've had.
Yeah, and we'll see them in the playoffs. We know they'll get the auto bid. We just don't know if another team will get in or not. I mean, Central Arkansas with that loss today, 7-4, probably on the outside looking in, but in the conversation to get an at-large playoff berth. So we'll have to wait and see till the selection show. Obviously, let's get to some top 25 and some in-state scores. Let's start first with some Pac-12 scores for you. Right now, Washington beating Oregon State 9-7. That's about just the start of the second quarter right now. Oregon took care of Arizona State, but the Utah Utes, this was number 22 at number 17 Arizona, and this was a lopsided affair as the Utes got blown out basically 42-18 today.
It started out 28-0 with Arizona getting up really early and really big, obviously, into that second quarter. The Utes finally answer with a touchdown before the half, but it really was Arizona the whole way through that game.
Couple Big 12 scores up in Provo today, trying to get bowl eligible. You knew it would be tough, but they were at home for the final time this season. Senior day. Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. He had 191 yards and 2 touchdowns. He gets knocked out of the game. BYU, though, throws a pick six, a costly pick six. They end up losing 31-24. But Cougar fans, they were in this for a long, long time.
They were. It was tied up at 24 at one point there in the fourth quarter. And at that point, you kind of thought, hey, maybe BYU has a chance here against a ranked opponent. And a lot of people talking about that 10 o'clock game, how early it was and how they're not used to playing at that time. Well, I think BYU was just fine with it. You don't see them go up against a ranked opponent this season and take it all the way to the fourth quarter like that. So I think BYU fans have to be happy with that performance.
Yeah, and one more chance to get bowl eligible on the road against Mike Gundy and the Pokes in Oklahoma. So we'll see how that one goes. Stillwater. Another Big 12 score, Texas just underway with Iowa State, no score. But number 21, Kansas State leading number 25, Kansas right now, 16-13. Of course, Utah State hosting Boise State. They just fired their coach. You thought maybe they could finally get off the losing skid against the Broncos. Not going well right now. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Utah State down by 18 by a score of 28-10. A little bit surprised. I thought maybe this would be the chance for Utah State to knock down Boise State.
Yeah, and Utah State's had a little bit of an up and down season, and they're in a conference that is moving forward. You have teams like UNLV who historically haven't been as good that are really good this season again, and it's a different time right now for the Mountain West.
No question about it. One other UAC team, North Alabama, they're only 3-7. They're actually at halftime at number 4 Florida State, who is right in the center of the college playoff picture right now.
Yeah.
And it's 24-13. That is a tighter game than a lot of people would have ever guessed at the half.
What I love to see is coming out of the first quarter, it was 13-0 Northern Alabama on top. And I guarantee you some of those North Alabama fans had to have been living on cloud 9 through the first quarter of that ball game.
Yeah, number 1 Georgia taking care of Tennessee on the road today, 38-10. Other top 25 scores: Notre Dame hammering Wake Forest 45-7. Ohio State 37-3 over Minnesota. Oregon Ducks clobbered Arizona State 49-13. Michigan had their hands full at Maryland. They hang on to win by a touchdown 31-24. Alabama 66-10 over Chattanooga. Louisville beat Miami 38-31. Penn State, number 12 in the country, 27-6 winners. And that's a good portion of the scores for you here at the half, where SUU on the road here in St. George, Greater Zion Stadium leads 14-9. Devin Dixon, Caden Formaster. Let's go back to this game for just a few minutes here, Caden. What stood out to you in that first half? You look at the numbers between the two quarterbacks. Not bad. Justin Miller, 9 of 14 and a touchdown, 88 yards. And then you had Kobe Tracy, 8 out of 17. Had that one interception, but had a few more passing yards with 120.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that's standing out to me right now, specifically with Kobe Tracy, is his rushing. He's gained 29 yards. He had that 19-yarder as well. He's, interestingly enough, he's looking at getting positive yardage on the season. He's not a running quarterback. So to see him take off, it's kind of nice. It's a change of pace, something we don't see from him normally. He's a pocket passer. He'll roll out and he'll pass if he needs to. But one thing he doesn't do is run, and we're seeing him do a little bit more of that. And I like that. If he sees the hole, I like to see him run and try to take advantage of that situation. And, the running game for Utah Tech, which normally isn't their strong suit, has been decent. Obviously today they're looking pretty good when it comes to the run game.
Connor Collins back in the Findlay studios also just telling me that in that Florida State game against North Alabama, their star quarterback broke his leg on national TV. We're here at the stadium. I did not see that, but that is not good news for the Seminoles.
No, especially at this
Travis Fuller, I think is the quarterback's name.
Yep, and especially at this point in the season where they're looking at a playoff bid, right?
Yep.
They're a fourth-ranked team. They want to get into the playoffs and move through the playoffs, and that's not going to be easy to do with a backup quarterback.
Let's take a look at a little deeper dive here. Daniel Thomason, 3 catches, 51. We had him in our pregame show. We got to interview him and talk with him, and the former Alta Hawk in-state kid. 100-yard game last week and leading the Blazers in receiving. He looks like he's going to be one of the guys that we can count on in the seasons to come. You're losing some guys to graduation, guys like Ricky Johnson playing their final game as a Trailblazer. And Thomason's emerging, man. Great first half with him.
Yeah, he's had a few really big gains, a really impressive catches. And not just that, it's the yards after the grab as well that he's been able to pick up. So that's really nice to see. And as you mentioned, as someone that's an underclassman who's getting some reps now, someone that we can look forward to in the future.
I'm looking at Ricky Johnson, though, 2 catches for 19 yards. I want to see if you can send that senior out, get him some more targets. He did get 5 targets in that first half. Also, the star for the T-Birds, Isaiah Wooden, 5 targets, 3 catches, only 15 yards, but he did have 1 for the touchdown.
Right.
But that's a pretty good job against Wooden by the secondary of the Trailblazers.
Absolutely, yeah. You love to see that as much as you possibly can, right? And you look at both sides of this: SUU, Utah Tech. And the score kind of tells it. It's within a score right now, 14-9, right? And both of these teams are just fighting a good battle. Both defenses really coming into it. Justin Miller getting it done with his legs and scoring a touchdown there for the second touchdown for the T-Birds. So you're seeing really good football from both of these programs, especially defensively.
Hard-hitting rivalry football. These two campuses, 45 minutes apart, 5-point lead at the half. Second half adjustments, both coaches are going to take some swings at some things. They're both going to try to find a couple plays, maybe a couple different packages defensively, maybe change up the pre-snap reads, throw a little bit more of exotic blitz or 2 in to try to make things more difficult on each team's quarterback. They're in there doing some chalk talk, and we're moments away from the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at this point, you go in and you make those adjustments. I think some of those adjustments have to be, all right, well, what's working well? And that's tough to say. You're hit or miss on a lot of things. At times for Utah Tech, the passing game has looked really good, but there have also been times where the routes just aren't open for Kobe Tracy, and he doesn't have targets to go to. So you're getting a little hit or miss there. The running game, again, has been good at times, but then you get some tackles for loss, a couple in a row, and now you second-guess that part of the game. So, it just comes down to strategic play calling here.
We have to figure out what went wrong on the snap and the hold and the low kicks there, field goal and a PAT blocked there as we get close to starting the half. Third down conversions, SUU 2 for 4, Utah Tech 4 for 8. Nobody went for it on fourth down, so we'll see if they roll the dice on fourth down. All right, quick break. We'll go back upstairs to Rod Zundel right after this.